Good afternoon, and thank you for coming to the 2021-2022 21st Century Fund Grantee Briefing. We are excited that another grant cycle is here, and the purpose of these briefings is to provide you with an overview of the guidelines and grant process. Before we get going here, I want to introduce two people that you'll be hearing from this afternoon. The first is Steering Committee member Michelle Schmidt, who is chair of the Application Review Committee. Michelle also, in her time not volunteering with the 21st Century Fund, works for the East Hill Foundation here in Western New York. Darren Penoyer is the Senior Program Officer at the Community Foundation, who coordinates with the grantees throughout the 21st Century Fund grant process. And should you have any questions about the process, we'd ask that you please reach out to Darren Penoyer at darrenp@cfgb.org. This year is the 22nd anniversary of the 21st Century Fund. In 1999, the 21st Century Fund was started by a group of generous individuals who wanted to make philanthropy accessible to all. It is a giving circle where members join the 21st Century Fund by paying for an individual or family lifetime membership, either $2,100 if you are over 35, and for those individuals who are under 35, $1,000 is the membership for a lifetime voting rights for the 21st Century Fund. And this is a way of encouraging younger individuals in the community to get engaged with philanthropy and see what our community nonprofits have to offer. The members' money is pooled and invested at the Community Foundation, and every other year, members vote to award a $100,000 grant to a deserving nonprofit organization here in Western New York. Today, there are over 350 21st Century Fund members. Just a note before we go on, in consultation with the Community Foundation staff and the steering committee of the 21st Century Fund, we have decided to once again host the spring events virtually. We know we like to get together in person, but given the unknown future with the pandemic, we felt that it was most prudent to make that decision now for both the members as well as you, the potential grantees. And you'll see on the screen here images of what the 21st Century Fund has looked like prior to the pandemic with folks getting together, and then what we had last year for the final vote event being virtual. We're excited to bring these events to the members in the spring of 2020. And I'm at this point going to turn things over to Darren Penoyer to talk both about the 21st Century Fund key dates, as well as the process for applying to the grant cycle.
Good afternoon, everybody. As Andrew said, my name is Darren Penoyer. I'm one of the senior program officers at the Community Foundation, and I'm the staff person for this particular process, the 21st Century Fund. The dates that I want to review are the October 4th, 2021 date is when the application opened online. So we're in the midst of that. October 7th was our grant briefing session. The grant applications are due online through our Foundant Grant Life Cycle Manager by December 3rd, 2021 at 4 p.m. promptly. There's no exceptions to this deadline, and it's very important that the folks start working on their application now and don't wait till the last minute. The system Foundant is very robust. We stand behind the process or the application process. It has never gone down during a deadline, and we have many, many deadlines here at the Community Foundation. And this Foundant product is used by many foundations across the United States and locally, including at East Hill. So Michelle can also vouch for its reliability. What I do have concerns about on December 3rd are people's internet connections. They tend to go down at the worst possible time. We all know worst case scenario can happen. So it's best to plan ahead and make sure that you have your application in at least a day before, and don't wait till the last minute. It is an extensive application that the Grant Review Committee, the membership, has designed. Once we have those applications, and we'll probably receive between 30 and 40, we will put them before a grant application review committee that Michelle, again, heads up, and that'll be during January. So the committee will review all of these applications, and then it'll make recommendations for approximately 8 to 12 to advance on to the next stage. And that'll be announced in February 2022. That's when the semifinalists are announced. We have 2 virtual events then. This time around, the March 2022 event is akin to the science fair, which we basically will have all 8 to 12 semifinalists present on their projects to the gathered membership, and then the membership will vote, and a final 4 will go on to the April 2022 final vote event, where one organization will be chosen to receive $100,000. Now, remember, it's only one grant of $100,000. There's no second or third place. But the thing you do need to remember is that many of the folks that hold funds here, and also additionally, folks that work for foundations or head up their own foundations, are also members of the 21st Century Fund. So you'd get exposure. While this process is beyond the normal, just submit an application and go through a review process. You've got a lot more work in this one, but it could pay off big, because a foundation or a funder or a client of ours could supply funding outside of our process. So just keep that in mind. It happens once in a while. So in order to go to the 21st Century Fund section of our website, you'll want to click on the nonprofit section and go to our grants, and then the 21st Century Fund is the last but certainly not the least process listed. So the web page is complete. The most important part, other than of course the apply now in order to go out to the Found It system, the most important thing are the grant guidelines that are listed. They're very detailed, and while we're going to go over some of the ones that we feel should be most of importance to you, there's a lot more to it. Please, please, please make sure you review these in detail before you apply to the 21st Century Fund, so that you know that the process is appropriate for your request. This is a very different process. So most of you probably already have an account and Found It. So you remember that login information is case sensitive. If you've forgotten your password, there is the forget your password link, so you can set it on your own. The system is on 24/7, so you can work in here at any time. And if you need to create a new account, certainly avail yourself to doing that if you're a new nonprofit. So I'm going to turn it over to Michelle at this point, so she can talk a little bit more about what we're looking for.
Thanks, Darren. Hi, I'm Michelle Schmidt. Just to go over some of the grant guidelines that Darren mentioned, and definitely go to the Community Foundation website and download the full guidelines and read them through, because they will be helpful with your application process. The 21st Century Fund membership will consider all proposals. However, there's a strong preference for the requests that are sustainable, requiring minimal future grant support of any type, and result in long-term significant impact within the 8-county region. Successful 21st Century Fund awardees are not excluded from future application cycles as long as their prior 21st Century Fund grant is closed properly. The 21st Century Fund grant should be utilized within 1 year from the final vote event. Grants not released within 6 months of the event may be canceled unless there are extenuating circumstances. Any request for a change from the original timeline must be made in writing. Historically, the 21st Century Fund has not supported unsustainable salaries, general operating expenses, travel. The membership will not consider competitive funding for higher education scholarships, projects outside the 8 Western New York counties: Allegheny, Cattaraugus, Chautauqua, Erie, Genesee, Niagara, Orleans, and Wyoming. Religious purposes, schools not registered with the New York State Education Department, attendance at or sponsorship of fundraising events for organizations, annual festivals or events, one-time events unless it's part of an overall large project. Any partisan political activity, funds from the foundation cannot be used to support or oppose a candidate for political office. Projects and activities that have occurred, the 21st Century Fund will not provide payment or reimbursement for expenses incurred prior to the awardee receiving their check. Here's a list of the previous grant awards, and as you will see by this list, the type of projects really show the projects and the impact that the membership likes to choose for the winner. And I think this list is very important. Take a look at it. You can see that these projects are still happening now and in place. So the sustainability is very important.
Thank you, Michelle and Darren. As we repeated at the beginning, if you have any questions about the 21st Century Fund grant process, please first check the website where all the details and grant guidelines are provided. If you have further questions beyond that, please reach out to Darren Penoyer at darrenp@cfgb.org. We look forward to receiving your applications if you feel this is a fit for you and learning about the projects that you are bringing here to Western New York. Thank you so much and good luck.
Thank you.